Hey guys, Remy's Reviews here and welcome back to the first video of 2024. And you know what better video to make in 2024 than a video about 2023. That's right. Today we're going to be taking a close look at my top 25 songs of last year, all in order. I've actually built up a whole Spotify playlist of my favorite songs of the year, and I tried to order them. There's like over 200 tracks, so if you're trying to see placements below 25 and what almost made the list, make sure to check the playlist. I'll link it in the description alongside with my Album of the Year account, which you should go follow for all my reviews and ratings. And I think that's about it. Let's just get into the list because it's gonna be quite a long one. At number 25, we have Haelegeen 2 by Liturgy. And as much as I think Liturgy are kind of a pretentious band, I gotta admit that I really love their new record, and I think this is easily the best and most exciting track from it. I think it's great. Next up, we have Forgive and Forget by Raven Age, which is a very emotional and nostalgic melodic metalcore song with those riffs fused with elements of alternative metal, with that huge catchy chorus, and I think it's probably their second best song ever after Grave of the Fireflies. And as much as I like the new Blood Omen record, I hope they push out a more consistent album in the future with more songs like this. Next we have the one and only Animate with Without a Whisper, and I feel like this track should be way higher on this list, but I wanted to include a variety of artists on this list because then every single placement would just be Animate. Either way, this song is absolutely gorgeous and has an amazing heavy riff that comes in after the chorus too. It's just beautiful. At number 22, we had Kisses by Slowdive, which I wasn't really crazy about when it came out as a single, but in the context of the album, I absolutely love it. It's one of the prettiest and most gorgeous songs of the year. It's great. At number 21, we have the controversial Sleep Token with Vore. Now, as much as I like the new record, I think it could have been a bit better considering the singles. And the Sleep Token I will always love the most will always be the emotional piano ambient infused Sleep Token on Sundowning. That's like my favorite record from them. That's the sound I love from them. And this album kind of completely goes away from that sound for the most part. However, it still has incredible tracks on it, hence why it made my list for best albums in 2023. Vore being one of them, with some really epic Blackgaze infused verses and a huge, massive epic chorus. It's great. Next up, we have the Crossfire by Polaris. And while the riffs are incredible on this track, what really brings it home to me is that goddamn chorus. Lord Jesus, that has to be one of the most gorgeous and emotional choruses I've heard this year, if not in modern metalcore in general. It's so nostalgic and beautiful, just the hook alone grants this song a spot on this list. At number 19, we have quite an interesting pick, which is Picking Up Pieces by Philip Selway, which, if you didn't know, is the drummer for one of my favorite bands ever, Radiohead. And he decided to release this solo record, and unlike a lot of the other members' solo records, this one was actually pretty solid. But this song over here is definitely the sole highlight of it, with some very ear candy, beautiful vocal melodies over this choppy yet gorgeous guitar instrumental. It's quite unique and stunning at the same time. Next, we have quite the opposite of the previous track, which is Show Me the Body by Dealer. Yes, the best new metalcore band ever. Dealer came back last year with only one single in January, unfortunately, but God was the single amazing. This track just goes stupidly hard with stupid amount of stupid energy. It's so pissed and angry. Definitely one of my go-to gym songs 2023 for sure. I love that riff too. Great track. At number 17, I have Turbines/Pix by Black Country New Road, and oh my goodness, is this song gorgeous. Those pianos and the light feathery vocals are just so beautiful. I don't even know what else to say about it. Go listen to it yourself. It's just an absolutely stunning track. Speaking of stunning, next up is Ubiquity Road by Oneohtrix Point Never, which I think is the best track from his new record again, and it's definitely one that's the most in my wheelhouse, with those ambient emotional synths which I always absolutely adore. The song has such an immersive and incredible atmosphere, it transports me to a mysterious and otherworldly universe. I absolutely adore it. Moving into the top 15, we have Emergency by Red, which is one of the best songs this alternative slash Christian metal band has put out in the recent years, with quite an unusual yet super intriguing song structure for them, with a blasting and energetic riff, incredibly catchy and melodic vocals, one of the best breakdowns of the year, and also a huge dramatic, epic vibe. It's absolutely incredible. They really went above and beyond with this one. Next up, I have Path to Your Grave by Dying Wish, which is from an album I absolutely loved and put in my top 3, and I think this is the best track from it, although it was very hard to pick what tracks to include, since the album isn't super striking in singular tracks. It was more so an incredible album experience, with every song being rock solid, amazing, rather than having a few songs that absolutely blew my mind. Either way, this song is perfect. That chorus literally stuck in my head all day. I love it. At number 13, I have Flimsier by King Krule, which is this melancholic, slowcore, duster-influenced jam with an incredibly warm and otherworldly feeling. It's actually so beautiful and definitely not something I expected from King Krule, based on not really enjoying the Ooze album. But yeah, this record was great, and this is the best track from it, I think. Next up is Wildfire by Periphery, which is one of the craziest songs of the year. It starts out with one of the best and heaviest riffs of the year, has a bunch of heavy parts in it, but also a harmonically melodic chorus, some video game sound effects, and also a jazz part with a saxophone solo. Yeah, it's insane, but I absolutely love the creativity and fun of it, and the jazz part was truly incredible and fit the song perfectly, so yeah, this one is incredible, and probably my favorite song Periphery has ever put out. And at 11, we have Ghost of Me by Make Them Suffer, which have transformed from a somewhat generic deathcore band into one of the most exciting modern metalcore bands, with their last record having one of the best metalcore songs of all time. There, I said it. I think Erase Me is one of the most perfect tracks in the genre. I'll be honest, and as much as I wanted that kind of depressing emotional sound for the new singles, they deliver a much heavier and aggressive tone with this one, while still having that big chorus, and God, it is absolutely fantastic. That riff, combined with those vocals, see you when you hit the bottom, just goes so hard. I absolutely love it. It's great. Okay, moving into the top 10. The best singles 2023 had to offer, in my humble opinion, starting off with Please End Me by Paleface, which is a Swiss beatdown hardcore band, and this is literally like the perfect beatdown song. It's extremely edgy, but honestly I can excuse that when the song itself goes so hard. I love the straightforward yet depressing angsty lyrics too. It's just such a heavy and aggressive song with some of the best riffs of the year, and the screams are so insanely angry, it's actually crazy. And that breakdown at the end, like, Jesus, that was something else, dude. At number 9, we have, again, a polar opposite of the last track, which is Andre 3000 with the first song from his new Blue Sun record, I Swear, ... I'm not even gonna take the time to say the title of the track because, it'll probably take like 5 minutes. But the song itself is one of the most gorgeous and transportive new age / ambient songs, especially coming from Andre 3000, which might have just been the most unexpected moment of the year. But he makes it work, man. This song is stunningly gorgeous. That melody has so much character and mystery to it. It's actually so beautiful. Okay, enough of the relaxing, beautiful stuff, because next, we have one of the best deathcore bands of all time, Signs of the Swarm, with Amongst the Low and Empty, the title track, which has to be one of my favorite modern deathcore tracks ever. Goddamn, that riff is relentless, and it doesn't matter if it's all just zeros, okay? It goes fucking hard, and the vocals are just crazy, the breakdown is wild, and that middle Garden of Eden part has such a great build-up and drop. Fuck, man, what a banger of a track. I've had it on repeat every single day, and it's such an amazing song for the gym too. I love it. At number 7, we have a combination of heavy and beautiful, which is basically this band in a nutshell. And that is, of course, Invent Animate again, with Purity Weeps. And this song has some of the most gorgeous melodic parts on the record, but what really makes this song so addictive and replayed for me is that fucking main riff. Like, what, dude? What even is that riff? Like, it's absolutely insane. Probably the best riff of the year, if I'm being honest. Like, it's just something else, dude. Those bends are crazy. Keaton should get a fucking raise for making that riff. Like, fuck, man. Next up at number 6, we have Cicadas by Margaret, which is such a beautiful and relaxing song. It's also very sad and nostalgic. It makes me feel things, man. And it also feels like a warm hug in the loneliest of times. The vibe this track creates with those pianos and background ambience is top tier and definitely deserves a spot on this list. At number 5, we have again quite a contrast from the last track, and that is of course Deep in the Willow by Knocked Loose. And I mean, what can I say about Knocked Loose that hasn't already been said? I mean, everything these guys touch just turns into greatness. An absolutely pissed metalcore, fused with beatdown, and this might be their heaviest song to date. They really push their sound even further with this one, and every single part of it is just a literal breakdown. There are like 15 breakdowns in this song. It's just a metalcore masterpiece. I mean, what can I say? It's perfect. And Brian Garris, he just keeps getting angrier by the day. I also want to give a shout out to Isaac Hale, which obviously makes amazing riffs, but his growly background vocals he adds here and there actually quite a lot of flavor to the song, so shout out to him too. Next up at number 4, I have Daughter with To Rage. And all I'll say about this song is that it's a moody and depressing indie rock masterpiece with an amazing bass line, ethereal and gorgeous riffs, and those pained and depressing vocals. It's such a beat in the chest to this song. Makes me feel things. That's all I'll say before I start shedding tears, so let's quickly move on. At number 3 is Sigur with the track 8. Which is the outro from their 2023 Ada album, and it's one of the most stunning masterworks in modern classical music in the recent times. I mean, those strings combined with the deep and powerful pianos, with the ethereal and airy vocals, and all of that background ambience, it feels like I'm in a chamber getting transported to heaven. I'm a huge fan of modern classical music, and when it's combined with ambient and chamber music like this, with those kinds of deep emotional melodies, I cannot resist. This song is absolutely gorgeous. Speaking of absolutely gorgeous, we have a pick that a lot of you probably weren't expecting. And that's Pray Remembered by Slowdive at number 2. And just like To Rage, this song evokes some very intense emotions within me, with those depressingly beautiful guitars, very light bass and drums, and there aren't even any vocals on this track, but the vibe that is created solely by the instrumentation is one of the strongest and most striking vibes ever created with any instrumental song in the past decade. It's such a simple yet stunning instrumental piece, and it's like exactly my cup of tea too. I just love those melodies too much. It takes me to a different planet, and riding on a train while bumping this track with rain pouring down on the windows is an experience I will never forget and definitely want to repeat, despite it making me very emotional. So yeah, I love the new Slowdive record, but this is my favorite song from it. I know it's simple, but God does do so much, and I have so much emotional depth to it. I absolutely love it. And finally, at number 1, my favorite song of 2023, it's Labyrinthine by Animate, which is kind of an interesting pick that I didn't think would be my number 1 when I first listened to their album. It was supposed to be Shade Astray as my favorite track on Heavener, but that song technically released in 2022, so I can't include it on this list. But over time, Labyrinthine has become one of my most played songs on the record, and one day it just fucking hit me. I was listening to it on the tram, and then that early breakdown came in, and I literally had chills all over my body for at least 5 minutes. I mean, God, that has to be one of the best executed heavy parts and breakdowns in the entirety of metalcore. It has such an incredible tension and build-up when it drops. It's like an eargasm of heaviness. It's such a climactic song with some of the most exciting riffs, and the track has so much momentum and variety, it's addicting to listen to. And for that reason, it's my favorite track of 2023. Okay guys, that was my list of my top 25 songs of 2023. Let me know your list down in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, go check out the Spotify playlist for my full ranking of all songs this year. Subscribe for more videos, follow me on Album of the Year, and Happy New Year!